So I came out today to catch up on a couple of videos and talk about some things that I've picked up in just the last couple of months. And one of those things was a new two-person ultralight tent in order to facilitate taking one of my smaller sons backpacking. And the tent that I ended up going with is the one behind me, which is the Mountain Hardware Strato UL2. Let's get into it. Oh yeah. So when I had actually got out into the market and was looking for a true two-person tent, there was a couple of things that stood out to me about a lot of the tents that are available right now in the market. And there's several that are similar in this category as far as being ultralight. The Mountain Hardware tent was great because it comes in right at a little under 2 pounds 9 ounces, which to me is a great weight for a semi-freestanding two-person tent. The other kicker with this tent that was really, in the end, was the selling point, is that you can actually fit two 25-inch wide pads side by side in this tent without stretching out the bathtub, any of that type of situation. Most two-person tents on the market in this weight are actually, if you'll read in the comments, will have a floor space, an actual floor space that is less than 50 inches. And that ends up bunching your pads together. And so I haven't actually, I didn't actually bring two pads to put in here. I should have, I didn't. But I will tell you that two 25-inch pads do fit in this tent. And there's a couple other reviews you can find on YouTube that will show you that that is the case. So it is a true two-person tent, which was what I was looking for. And it's under 3 pounds, considerably under 3 pounds. And I think you can actually get it down to around 2.5 is the minimum weight. And I'm not really sure. I think that includes everything, maybe but the stakes. So coming in at that weight was a big selling point. And the reviews quality-wise and setting the tent up, you can tell they did their best to use the highest quality materials while still trying to be conscious of the weight of the tent. So that was important to me too. It seems like it is built pretty sturdy. The zippers don't snag when you're opening the doors or you're opening the fly. So that's was a huge upside for me setting it up for the first time. And really, it's pretty easy to set up. It's a little bit different than some other tents that I've used in the past. It's got some different style of hardware, which makes it unique, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. And I didn't find it difficult to set up. I've set up a lot of tents in my life, and this one wasn't particularly difficult. It actually has a pretty cool instruction sheet that is inside of the stuff sack that kind of gives you a step-by-step on how to do things. So that makes things a lot easier on the setup, and it's pretty self-explanatory along the way if you're familiar with tents at all. So I don't have a sleeping pad in the tent, but as you can see, my head, there's quite a bit of room between my head, and if we look down at my feet, you can see my feet have plenty of room at the end, and I'm 6 foot tall. So that means that there is a ton of room in here. There's a ton of room on either side of me still, and I really don't like have the fly or the mesh here in my face. I don't have a lot of complaints about where that's at and how that's set up. So overall, like just being inside the super comfortable. And I can sit up, I'll show you guys. I can sit up here, and like I said, I'm 6 foot tall, and my hat is just barely touching the top, but I can sit up inside the tent. You could sit 2 people up in this tent if you had to, if you were out in some rain or whatever. There's plenty of room in it, and then the bathtub floor around it, as you can see, I've got it staked out the best I can. I'm in some tall grass here, but there's plenty of room within the bathtub floor. So I did buy this tent myself off of Mountain Hardware's website, and it was on a big discount. And the last time I checked, which was right when I made this video, it actually still is on a 40% discount on their website, which makes this tent really affordable, especially in its category. So if you are looking for a 2-person tent and you are desiring something under 3 pounds, something that is a true 2-person that you can put 25-inch pads in for 2 people, something that's going to check those boxes for, you know, your short and long distance backpacking trips. One last thing I want to talk about, and that's how this tent packs up. And as you can see, the tent body, the fly, the stakes go in this stuff sack, while the pole has its own stuff sack, which I think is cool. And the fact that they added these elastic pieces, so when you're storing it, you can keep them together. But when you're in the back country, these poles can limit where this tent can go if they occupy the same stuff sack. Separating them makes it possible for you to keep these poles on the outside of your pack while your tent body and fly stay on the inside, taking up much less room. And that was a great design in my opinion, because a lot of times your total tent package, when it's packed up, has a lot to do in size with how small you can get these poles. So this was a great thought from Mountain Hardware, that you could separate these two, especially in the situation if you were going out with 2 people. You can hand the poles to the other person, removing some weight from your pack, sharing the load of the tent together. So that's one of the first things I noticed about this when I received it. I thought that was great. I didn't even realize it was going to come like that from Mountain Hardware. So I just wanted to touch on that. Super easy to get back in the bag too. Not a big difficult process. So I hope this review was helpful for you guys if you're in the market for a 2-person tent, especially if you're in the market for one that's ultralight and high quality. The Strato 2, it's the one you should be looking at. I hope this review, first look of the Mountain Hardware Strato UL2, was helpful, especially if you're in the market for this tent or one like it. I hope I gave you some things to think about and maybe answered some questions that you have of your own. This tent will be in the field with me this summer, and so I will keep you guys updated on how it performs. And actually we'll be taking it out probably on the Appalachian Trail here in a couple of months. So I'm excited to test it out in a real life situation and get back to you guys. And until next time guys, remember, hike your own hike.